it's always like, it's kind of frustrating because there's always some reason to have to do a podcast and not have to get guys on television. But yeah, this is a very, very, very strange one for me because as I'm sure many of you that were watching EFC Fight Night this weekend probably picked up, or maybe you didn't pick up, because I have heard and seen absolutely nothing on social media about this since Saturday night. But announced at EFC Fight Night that EFC 90 will see the showdown between Sindile Manengela and Faiz Jacobs for the vacant EFC Bantamweight title. Now, that caught me. Vacant EFC Bantamweight title. So I don't know about you, but I remember watching EFC 85. Sylvester Chipfumbu, he fought Faiz Jacobs 5 rounds, won the title, okay, and became the EFC Bantamweight champion. I also know that in the build-up to last weekend's event, before it was announced as EFC Fight Night 1, other MMA media were announcing that Sylvester Chipfumbu would be defending his title against Sindile Manengela. This after Manengela beat Asiashu Chitamba, and that was in that number 1 contender fight, which also took place at EFC 85. So for me, it was rather confusing to see the event commentators as well as EFC matchmaker Graham Cartmel talk about the fact that the bantamweight title was up for grabs, and to my mind, still EFC bantamweight champion Sylvester Chipfumbu, his name was mentioned nowhere at all in this. The post-event presser also made mention of this vacant bantamweight title fight, and once again, no mention of Sylvester Chipfumbu. So I have reached out to matchmaker Graham Cartmel. He hasn't come back to me as yet. Hopefully, we'll get an answer in the coming days, hours. So to clear things up for me, and hopefully for you guys that are watching, I'm joined by the former EFC bantamweight champion, Sylvester Chipfumbu. Sylvester, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for giving us your thoughts, how you're feeling. I mean, first of all, you've heard the introduction. What the hell is going on? To my mind, you are the champ. What the frick is going on?
Well, good, man. Thanks for having me. But honestly, I'm also trying to comprehend what's going on because I was only told that I won't be defending my belt last week, and that is after I signed a fight contract to fight Sindile. I have everything, the fight contract I have it that I signed, paid and delivered to EFC. I have the messages from Graham, and then the next thing I know, he messages me. He said, "We're moving on." Sorry, we're moving on. I said, "Okay, it's fine," because obviously there's nothing that I could do after that. And I just said to him, "Can you please just send me a release later? Because that's what you guys want." And I think the reason why it happened is so my contract with EFC expires in December, right? My long-term contract, my contract of service. So obviously I was gonna fight now in delay now on the 6th of November. I think we were scheduled to fight now in October, but due to some reasons I couldn't fight because I can disclose it. I was sick. I took the COVID injection and I was sick for a week or so, and I didn't train. So I said to Graham, "Look, I don't know how long this is going to take for me to recover," because it was like I had COVID again. So I said, "Can you just put the fight in November?" And he said, "Okay, fine." And then so I signed the fight contract, everything, and then but I was advised by my management and not to sign a long-term contract before my old contract expired, because they said it doesn't make sense at all. They need to know what's on the table, what the new contract is going to offer me, if it's going to secure my future, if it's going to put food on the table for me. Why is that so? Because we had been negotiating since, I don't know, June, July, for a place for my title defense. And honestly, we never got in line. We never agreed on anything. Up to a point, I just said, okay, cool. They offered me something that was better than what they initially offered, but it was still way less than what I wanted. And spoke with my sponsors, with my management. They said, okay, cool, fine, let's just fight, and we'll see what's the way forward. So I think it's because of these disagreements when it comes to my remuneration, that they thought maybe they should, tie me up to a new long-term contract before my old one expired, because obviously they thought I wasn't going to stay with them after my title defense. So they thought like I should sign a new contract. But logically, it's not logic for me to sign a new long-term contract before my old one expires. I don't know if that's how things work with them, but I just said no. I will sign when my old contract expires, and then I think that's where the disagreement started. And then the next thing I hear is Graham saying, you won't be defending anymore. We've moved on. I said, okay, cool, it's fine. There's nothing I can do about it. I'll also just move on. Can you please send me a release letter? And he said, no, I'm not going to send you a release letter. It's still under EFC. I said, I signed a contract to fight on the 6th of November. And now you're telling me you gave it to someone, which means I'm technically unemployed. I'm not going to get paid in November. So it's as good as me being jobless. So please just send me the release letter. And they said to me, no, that's not how you're still under contract. And I said to him, if I find something out there before December, I will take it. And he said to me, no, that's not how it works. And the last thing I said to him was, he said to me, you must talk to your lawyers. They'll tell you that's not how it works. And I said to him, I've spoken with them, and this is what it's come down to. They say that's how it works. If I signed a contract with them and they didn't honor the contract, I can move on. So I said to them, if you have any queries after that, you can just contact my lawyer. And that was it.
Wow. Okay, so lots to unpack there. So Sylvester, let me get this right. One, you actually have a signed contract to fight 6th of November, and that is for the Bantamweight title defense.
Against Sindile Maningela, yes.
Okay, so that we have.
I have all the offers from the initial offer. I think right up to the time when we agreed on the contract, I have more than 3 offers that I got from Nestle, some of which I turned down until I came to an agreement with them. I have everything. I have everything that I need to, in case someone tries to break my name in the mud out there saying that I refuse to defend. I never refused to fight. I said I'll fight Sindile. I signed the contract. I sent it to them. I just didn't sign the long-term contract because I was advised against it by my teammates, by management, and my lawyer. They said, no, you cannot do that before your old contract expires.
Okay, so that's what I want to understand. So you have a signed contract to fight Sindile to defend your title in November, but before that was going to take place, EFC required you to sign a long-term contract. What I assume 6 fights?
5 contract or 2.5 years. Yes, I think 2.5 years. Yeah.
Okay,
or 6 fights, yeah. So,
and you refused to do that, obviously based on advice from your management team, legal team, etc., etc. And as a result of that, in the lead up to this last weekend's fight, you were informed you are no longer the champion. That belt is now vacant, for which Sindile Maningela and Faiz Jacobs will fight on the 6th of November for that at EFC 90. And you requested, as a result of that, a release letter so that you can then take your fight career elsewhere, and they refused to give you that. You now have to sit, according to EFC, and wait until your contract expires at the end of December before you can go and fight anywhere else in the world. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's what it means. That's not exactly how we say it, but I say, can I have a release letter he said no. He said something, I don't know, check my messages, but he said something like, no, we can't give you a release later. Yeah, I think so. Technically, I'm still an employee of or I'm part and parcel of EFC, but obviously until my contract is filed, but I won't defend my person. So I don't know where I fit in that Bantamweight division exactly.
Well, it's quite clear that you're no longer the champ, and it's quite clear that they're going to wait and see you sit it out until December, and then hopefully maybe another discussion will take place. But wow, that's, I mean, okay. So let me ask this. I mean, I understand from EFC point of view that they're wanting to confirm your services for the next short while as their champion. I do understand and really understand from a business point of view that they are trying to consolidate and ensure that they've got some of the top African talent.
Yeah.
For people out there that are probably thinking what I'm going to ask next, you spoke a lot about not getting what you were after. Now, obviously, this is that wonderful topic around fighter pay. I'm not going to ask what you were looking for. I mean, that's got nothing to do with me. That's between you and that's between the EFC. But for those people that are probably thinking it, are you perhaps, and I've got to ask the question, maybe not being a bit too greedy in terms of wanting to get more money, or is this just a case of you don't believe you're getting paid what you feel you deserve to get paid?
If only you knew how much I was asking for, obviously, which I cannot say right now. I don't think you'd say I'm greedy. And the main reason I asked for that amount is, surprisingly, some guys I talked to who fight for the organization, someone who was fighting on the undercard, I just realized he was getting offered just a little bit. That guy has, I think, this is like he's being offered a fourth fight on the undercard. I don't know whether it's November, December, or January next year, and he's being offered just a little bit under the money they initially offered me. That's a guy who's fighting undercard. He's being offered 1,000 rand less than I'm being offered to fight for the title fight. So you can imagine, like, I just cannot disclose the amount, but to put it into a better perspective, my training camp costs a lot more than the amount I'm initially being paid. And some people would say, no, we don't do it like I hear a lot of people say I'm doing it for the legacy and this and that. And you should check those people's bank accounts. You think that the main reason I go to fight because I want to put food on the table. This is my job. I'm in the gym right now. I've been here since morning. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. So feeding my family, myself, making sure I take care of a future for myself, it comes first. So I don't know. It doesn't matter what people say. I know what I deserve. I know what I'm worth, and I'm not gonna play this game of status every or whatever people might call it. But I'm not gonna be part and parcel of that. And the thing is, well, once you are that person, you easily discard it because because you just ask for what you worth, and which is way less. I just cannot disclose it, but people will be shocked. You will be shocked.
So, Mr. I understand you can't disclose it, and absolutely. Question for you: the EFC investment opportunity. I mean, is that not assisting athletes like yourself? I mean, yes, I do understand athletes. You guys are fighting for a living. This is your job, and as the champion, you deserve to be rewarded for the outputs and for literally being the banner carriers of the EFC organization, or any organization for that matter, whether it be the UFC or Bellator, whatever it might be. The EFC investment opportunity where fighters get a portion of their pay now in terms of shares? I mean, is that not, from a athlete point of view, is that not assisting with revenue for fighters long term?
No, no. So far, I haven't seen anything coming out of that. The first thing is, I won't say much about that because honestly, I mean, I don't know much about that. The reason being, like, nothing much was explained to me in terms of how the shares are going to work, when the dividends are going to start paying, etc., etc. So I do not know much about that. So I cannot say that it's going to help me in the future or not. And also, uh, judging from what I'm being offered and what's being put on the table now, I'm not sure if it's gonna help me in the future, where the business is going. I don't know where the business is going. Those are things that I need maybe that everyone as a fighter needs to know. If their legal representative, maybe if my legal representative, and explain to us how those things are gonna work, when the dividends are gonna start paying, etc. Where they see their business going in the next 2 years. That's something that is solid, something that is legit, something that is important, something that I myself can understand. And if I'm investing, it's like investing. I'm investing in that, because that's my money. I was supposed to pay that I'm put as shares. So I need to invest in a business that I know is going to pay me in the next 2 years, or the dividends are going to pay, or where the business is going, is it going to collapse? What kind of liabilities are we in, limited, unlimited, etc., etc. So I don't know much about it. I don't know, maybe it's because I never really asked about it, but, as someone who's being offered something like that, I expected them to be more clear about those things, explain everything. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but you can ask other athletes if they really know what they're getting themselves into, if they know how this is going to work, and how it's going to help them in the future.